Good morning, my dear children. How are you? Yes, I hope you are fine. Uh, in the previous session, we had dealt with factors of production. What are the factors of production? I told you. First, you must understand the term production. Production means the creation of utility. Okay, creating something for consumption. That is called production. Now, how this production is created, how this production is made, we use four factors of production: the land, labor, capital, and organization. What is land? All gifts of nature, in short, that is land. Labor. Labor means physical or mental effort of human being in the production process. What is labor? Physical or mental effort. This is gift of nature. Physical or mental effort of human being in the production process. That is labor. Capital. It is man-made. Man-made material source. What is capital? Capital is man-made material source. What is organization? Organization aims takes decisions and bears risk. You see, the four factors of production. The first, land and labor, or the primary factors, or the primary functions of the factors of production. Whereas these two, capital and organization, are derived from human being. This is called secondary functions. Okay, so that is the main difference between land and labor, capital and organization. Now, what is land? Is the gift of nature. Is land perishable? No, it cannot be perishable. It is a permanent one. And next is labor. Labor means what? Physical or mental effort of human being in which in the production process. That is called labor. Then capital. Capital, we have two, tangible capital and intangible. That is tangible, so buildings, materials, machines, roads, highways, all things are come under tangible. Then intangible, the services rendered by or rendered or obtained from spending the amount of money or the money spent on advertisement and the training programs. These, services cannot be touched. These services can be felt but cannot be touched. Whereas these two, whereas tangible can be touched and felt or seen. That's why we say tangible and intangible. So in short, what we have to understand is capital is man-made source, man-made material source in the production process. Okay. The last one is organization. Organization means taking decisions and bearing risk. These two are called as organization now. So these are the fundamental things of understanding the production. Okay. Now we come to how the production is functioned. So what do you mean by production function? How the production functions? Now, the production function refers to the relationship among the inputs, units of the factors of production, that is called input, and the resultant quantity of a commodity produced, that is output. It is also known as the technical relationship between inputs and outputs. In other words, transforming the input into output. That is called production function. Okay, even George J. Stigler has explained or defined the production function is a relationship between the units of the productive services per unit of time and the product or the product service per unit of time. So that is what George J. Stigler defines production function. Now, this production function can also be explained with the help of the symbol. Now let me write on the board. Q is equal to the function of N, L, P, K, and T. You see, Q refers to quantity of output, N, land, L, labor, K, capital, and T, technology. So these are the factors which combine and give production. This is called production function. Okay. Now, this production function is the distinction between long run and short run. That means short run production and long run production made on the basis of fixed factors inherit the production or inhibit the production. In microeconomics, it is a given. What do you mean by microeconomics? Each and every term that you must understand. At any time you are asked, you must be able to say, what is microeconomics? You have already learned. Microeconomics is the study of the units of all the economic actions of individual units, say, households, firms, or industries. Okay, so there is difference between microeconomics and macroeconomics. When we learn the production economics, without knowing the fundamentals, the other concepts cannot be realized or understood. That is why each and every concept that you must try to clarify. Okay, you can give your statement in the next session or now itself. So microeconomics. Now here, the production function is generally classified into two categories. One is short-run production function and the another one is long-run production function. Short-run production function refers to the relationship between inputs and output, provided one factor is fixed. The other factors are variable. Okay. Whereas in long run, all the factors are variable. In short run, one variable, the other variables are fixed, and one factor is variable or changeable. Whereas in the long run, all the factors are variable. That is the difference between long run production and short run production. Now, in the long run production, the firms cannot leave the industry, or the firms cannot enter into the industry. Please listen carefully. In the short run production function, okay, the new firms cannot enter the industry, or the existing firms may not leave the industry. This is happening in the short run production function. This short run production function is illustrated by the law of variable proportions. I already mentioned one factor is variable, the other factors are fixed in the short run. That is why it is studied or explained by the law of variable proportions. Short run production function is explained or illustrated by law of variable proportions. Whereas long run production function is explained by laws of returns to scale. Do you remember the word scale? We have already learned the scale of preference in the ordinal, yes, in the ordinal utility. Yes, in the ordinal utility, we came to understand this term, scale of preference, how a consumer chooses the combination of factors. Okay, so here the long run production function is explained by the laws of returns to scale, and the short run production function is illustrated by law of variable proportion. Now, as far as the short run production is concerned, so the firms cannot enter into the industry, or the existing firms may not leave the industry. So this happens only or possible in the short run. Then what about in the long run production function? The new firms can enter into the industry, and the existing firms can leave the industry. Okay, so this is the difference between long run production and the short run production. The main point of the function is organization. As I told you already, organization. Here, organizer takes decisions and bears risk. That is why the organization is very important factor of the production function. Though we have three, land, labor and capital, factors of production, but how these factors are function? Only by organization. So an organizer is an initiator. He initiates all the factors in the production process. And he next is he is ready to take all types of risks and uncertainties. You know, uncertainties For example, earthquake may be occurred at any time. We cannot assure that earthquake cannot happen. Next, tsunami. Tsunami may occur at any time. And floods, all these natural calamities are called uncertainties. Okay, the risk taking, risk taking can be insured. Risk can be taken at any time. Risk can be insured, but uncertainty cannot be insured. Okay, so these are the important responsibilities of the organizer, the organization. Now, when we come to the long run production function, the new forms can enter and the existing forms can leave the industry. So, here, the laws of the variable proportions under short run production function and the law of return scale that is under long run production function. Now, the short run production function also states that all the other factors are variable, fixed, and one factor is variable. Other factors are fixed, but one variable is factor is there. So in this situation, while putting all this one variable factor and the other, the fixed factors are involved in the production, the total output will continue or the total production or output will increase at an increasing rate. Okay. After that, what will happen? It increases at an increasing rate, then be constant, then finally decline. Then what happens in the last given period of time? The marginal product becomes negative. Okay, so this is how the production takes place, how the production functions under short run. Okay, first the total output increases at an increasing rate, then it reaches consistency. That means it becomes constant. The production is constant. After this stage, the production gets declined or the production starts declining. So eventually, the marginal product becomes negative. That is at the last. Okay, this is how the production function takes place under short run. Okay, now, so these are the main important things that you have to keep it in mind. So the one is what? Land. Land. Land is the gift of nature. Then labor. Labor means what? The physical or mental effort of human being in the production process. Next, capital. What do you mean by capital? Capital is man-made material source in the production process. Then organization. Organization means takes decisions and bears risk. That's why we call risk taker or risk bearer and decision maker. An organizer or entrepreneur is also called risk bearer and a decision maker. Okay, so these four are the factors of production. Now, when we come to the production function, there is the functional relationship between inputs and output. So K is the Q is equal to function of N L K T. So this is the production function which is explained symbolically. So it's called a symbolical explanation of production function. What is that? Q is equal to function of N, L, K, and T. Next is what? Shortened production function. Is explained by law of variable proportions, and the long run production function is illustrated by laws of returns to scale. Now, when we come to the total product, average product, and marginal product, all these concepts are studied under the production function. Okay, so under short run, so we come to know the three stages of production function. Before that, you must understand TP. What is total product? The total number of units, the total units of the inputs used in the production process, and that gives the total output. The total product is equal to summation of MP, that is marginal product. The summation of the marginal products gives us the total product. Next, average product equal to TP divided by N. That is, total product is divided by the number of units of input used in the product. Okay, or the number of units of input is employed. That is how we obtain average product. Average product is equal to TP divided by N. That is total product divided by the number of units of input employed. Then finally, marginal product. Marginal product is an addition made to the total product by using or by producing one more unit of input in the production process. That means what? The change in the total product divided by change in the number of units. This is called MP, marginal product. Marginal product is addition made to the total product by combining or by using one more unit of input in the production process. Okay, so these are the functions of the production function. These three are also very important to be understood and kept in your mind. Total product, average product, and marginal product. So in the next session, we shall see how the production function functions, how the production functions in three stages: stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. Stage 1, increasing stage. Then stage 2, the constant stage. Then third stage is declining stage or falling stage. Production increases and being constant, then decline. Then finally what happens? Becomes negative. So these are the things that we are going to see in the next session with the help of schedule and diagram. Okay. So thank you, my dear children. Have a nice day and protect from coronavirus and follow all the precautionary measures. Even you can direct your friends and convey this message to your parents whenever they go out. uh, Ask them to wear masks and wash their hands and maintain the social distance. Thank you. Can I hear the voice?